In this video, we are going to take a look at linear search. So to set up this linear search, I'm going to get some user input. So I've got my import statement at the top for importing scanner. And then in my main method, I've created my scanner object there at line 6. And at line 7, I just created an array. I called it tests, and I just populated it with some somewhat random test scores. Now the next thing we're going to need to do is we need a couple of variables. I've scooted them down here to try to, oopsies, reveal them slowly, and it's completely failing, but that's okay. Let's get that out of the way. So I have created a variable I call find LOC. Now, find LOC is going to be the variable where I store the location of the element I found in the array if I find it. So I set it equal to -1 because it's kind of standard in Java to have -1 signal that we didn't find it. You'll find that with index of, if index of will return a -1 if the value being searched for wasn't found. And so I'm following that model here, and I set find LOC equal to, I initialize it to -1. And then I'm going to prompt the user to enter a score to look for, and then I'm putting that in a variable I call query, because query often means what you're looking for. Other names that you might see are key, and I can't think of any others at this point. So then I have to traverse the entire array. So we start at the beginning, idx equals 0, and then idx less than test.length, idx plus plus. If tests sub idx equals the query, so if the current element that I'm on equals what I'm looking for, then I set my find LOC equal to the current location, and then I keep looking. Now, when I'm done looping through this entire array, it will, we have an if statement, and if find LOC does not equal -1, then I print out the item was found at this location, else I print out the item was not on the list. So let's take a look at a sample run for this. And down at the bottom, it prompts me enter a score to look for. I want to look for 55. And it tells me 55 is not found on the list. Let's run it again. And let's say we're looking for 98. Now 98 was found at location 7. So let's take a look at that. And see, in fact, if 95 is at location 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in fact, it did find 98 at location 7. So it works. But what if we had repeats in our list? What if we had 98 in more than one location? Which location would it return? Let's run it and see. So again, I'm going to enter that I'm looking for 98, and it tells me it found it at location 8. Well, since I added an item, the last item is now in location 8 instead of location 7. But it finds the last item in the list. What if I wanted to find the first item in the list? A simple modification to our for loop test will take care of that. So at line 14, I want to say and, so my test is as long as idx is less than test.length, and find LOC equals -1. Because if find LOC equals -1, that means that I didn't find what I'm looking for yet. So keep looking. So let's run this again. And let's say I want to find 98. And it tells me now the item was found at location 3. And you can see 0, 1, 2, 3. Indeed, the first occurrence of 98 is there at location 3. If you want to find multiple occurrences, so location 3 and location 8, it's kind of beyond the scope of this video on linear search. Linear search can also be called sequential search because we start in sequence, starting at the first item and looking at each item. So linear search just starts at the beginning and keeps looking. Other thing you need to know about linear search is that the list does not need to be sorted. As you can see from my list here at line 7, it's not in any particular order, and your list does not need to be in any particular order for the linear search to work. You can find the code for this. I've shared my replit in the comments for this video, so feel free to grab it and fork it and run it yourself. I hope you found this video helpful.